wrestlers with open arms. In the heat of the struggle, we feel no harm. Through the fingers grip like steel's too strong. Together we thrive like a thunderstorm.
Bam, we're live, guys. How is Dexter Tan?
Oh, yeah, I'm good. I'm very good. I just got some new arm wrestling equipment, some practice
Oh,
gear stuff.
nice.
So pretty excited. I've been going to practice here and there, and the initial couple of months when I first got into it, man, after every practice, it feels like super sore. Like I couldn't
Oh,
even
yeah.
lift my hands off. And last Saturday when I had some practice against a couple of local guys here. Didn't feel too bad. It did not feel too bad.
That's
So,
good.
That's
That
always a
means you're
great feeling.
conditioning. Yeah.
yeah, I know. It makes me feel like I can do it almost every day, huh?
Are you getting the elbow or are you getting the brachialis?
So for my right arm, because I kind of play around a little bit more. And so last weekend I practiced more on the hooks, but prior to that I did a little bit stupid thing. I did more on the King's move kind of crap.
Ooh,
Bob Brown's probably gonna kill me, but
yeah.
yeah, so my right arm, it's more on the elbow. My left arm isn't so bad, but kind of I don't know if it's the same for everybody, but I tend to focus more on the right arm. You know.
Okay. Yeah, I did too. I was all right, and I had a pretty bad injury early on, so I couldn't pull
Mm.
left for a long time. But yeah, and I think the pains will change as you try different stuff. Like if you're going inside right now, it's going to be elbow. But if you start top rolling or really, pronating back, you'll start getting it into the brachialis. Yeah, and that one hurts.
Yeah.
That's a toothache. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a good one. That's awesome. So you're liking arm wrestling now. That's good. Like you're actually
Of
pulling
course,
and
I've
stuff.
liked it
Yeah.
for a while, but what got me a delayed start was my first ever arm wrestling tournament that I attended in person was East versus West 15 in Istanbul, right? And I got no idea what I was doing. I followed, Ingrid back to his basement, and he set me up with his son Emir, and Emir has been training since he was young, right? And
Yes.
here am
Yeah.
I, just not knowing anything, a complete amateur, doing only side pressure, and while he's doing top roll and pronation and everything, and I heard two pops, and my arm was out for like months,
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
months.
That's a
So
horrible way to start. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah, that's
lesson
funny.
learned. Don't go too crazy when you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, the tendons take time. They take time.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
for
not
sure.
everyone. You could be really strong, but if your tendons aren't there, you don't feel very strong. Like I got beat by, I'm a 300-pound guy, and like Zach could beat me when I started, probably. Like I was getting beat by everybody, and it's humbling. I think that's what made me fall in love with the sport. So, yeah, I'm a big, strong guy. I could probably kick everyone's ass in the room, but they all kicked my ass on the table. So yeah. And now that I have 3 years in pulling, my tendons have gotten a lot stronger. So that's really good.
Yeah, I feel arm wrestling, it doesn't seem like there's really a necessary shortcut. It's a lot of
No,
conditioning that I found,
yeah,
that like the pain that I once felt kind of slowly subsiding after every practice,
yeah,
right? So it's one of those like, slow and steady and over time.
yeah,
At least
Oh,
that's the
yeah.
way.
yeah. No, you know what though? I'm going to be honest. I just ripped apart my elbow at Nat Canadian Nationals this year. So the pain doesn't, I don't think it goes away for
It
like at
gets
all.
less.
I think you just get used to it. You just get to where it's like it doesn't bug you as much. That's what I think. I don't know because I still get pain all the time. So
Oh, I'll tell you one experience I had. So we had practice on Thursday night, right? And so I just went crazy, and then my arms were super sore. And then and that was the day where Devin visited Utah,
yeah.
right? So we brought him practice. So and then on Friday we had like a collaboration with the Diesel brothers,
Oh,
and man, they hey, we got a monster truck out here, guys. You guys want to ride in it? I was like, heck yeah! But guess what? There's no ladder or anything. You have to
it
race
climb.
Jump
yourself.
in.
And my arms were already shot. But
Could
oh,
you
it
get
took me a
in?
lot to get up there. And then like it kind of re-triggered the injury. And then
Oh
maybe
no.
like 15, 20 minutes later, they were like, hey, let's arm wrestle. I'm like, guys, this is
Yeah,
shot, buddy. And
right.
and there was a whole bunch of cameras there, and I did it anyway. But like,
Yeah,
man, right after and obviously I didn't want to embarrass myself, so I tried my best, but
yeah.
it totally was burning. It was burning
Yeah.
so hot, my
Oh,
arms were like,
Oh,
if it's a muscle pain, you could kind of massage it kind of
yeah.
way.
Not
But if
ten.
it's a tendon thing, it's like deep in there. It's like
oh,
all
it's
this.
Oh
bad.
There's
yeah.
no good position for your arm to be at in order to alleviate the pain. And that was like, geez. Hopefully
That's
that
we
doesn't
call
happen.
that the toothache. Yeah, we call it the toothache. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
just this pain that's just like, oh, you just want to put ice on it, right? Like it's yeah, yeah. No,
I
for
had it for
sure.
months because I do a lot of inside pulling, and
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
the more inside you go, the more elbow pressure there is. And holy crap, man, it's bad. Like waking up in the middle of the night in so much pain that you don't know what to do. You got to get ice and just stack ice on it so you don't feel it.
Yeah,
Terrible.
Zach would know for sure. Actually, Zach is a multi-arm Canadian national champ. So he just won two Canadian national titles a couple weeks ago.
Wow.
Just let you
Congratulations.
know, hey, on the radar. Yeah.
Oh,
He's a light guy. He's a light guy, like 145. Yeah.
oh,
So, yeah.
great.
Yeah, really good
Nice.
puller. Really good puller. Did really good this year. So we're proud of him.
Maybe we'll have a match, me and you.
Yeah. 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 Yeah, we're
Be your
working on a
first
match
match.
right
That'd be fun.
now against him and Dustin Leach. And the Leach brothers are really, really famous here in Canada. And Zach,
Season
I think, is
pullers.
going to be pulling them. Yeah, it's going to be great.
Very nice. Very, very
Yeah.
nice.
So we got the Shaw Classic coming up here real quick. You know, that one
Yeah.
is exciting. You know how you don't even know. Like I come from a strongman background, and I've been a big fan for many years, and to see the crossover right now is really, 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 really exciting. Like really exciting. Not only because they're giants, but because I love both sports, and to see them mesh is just like amazing. So, what do you think? Have you ever followed strongman, or do you know anything about strongman?
I've watched, clips here and there and just try to familiarize myself a little bit with the previous, you know, strongman events.
Yeah,
So I've seen some of the crazy events that they have to do, right?
yeah,
And
Yeah.
it's a very different kind of entertaining than the regular, say, weightlifting, like the Olympics level, where it's like, oh, clean
yes,
jerk, that's it. But this one is
yes.
like,
Yeah.
well, I'm throwing a big barrel at you, buddy. That
Yeah.
that kind of thing. So it makes it more interesting, and I think it allows people to enjoy a very traditional sport in a more entertaining manner, right?
Yeah.
So I think we can learn from strongman on what they did with the regular powerlifting, right? And see, I'm not trying to uh, totally botch East versus West into a complete clown fest, or that's what people use, but
Hmm.
finding out how to make things more entertaining. One of the things that we've been hearing is matches are taking too long, right?
Hmm.
Grips and setups are taking too long. Those are the small things that we hear, and we are slowly trying to figure out how to make it a little bit more palatable,
Yeah.
right? Introducing, maybe, speaking with announcers and getting them to just explain, or commentators to explain.
To the
One guy will
audience.
do more play by play, and another guy will fill in the gaps to help the newer fans
Hmm.
kind of understand things. So, because I'm kind of a relatively new arm wrestler, so there are still things that if it happens too quickly, I
You're not
might
gonna
miss
understand.
what
You're not
was,
gonna.
oh wait,
Yeah.
what just happened there, right? You know what I'm saying? So I think those are the things that I'm trying to achieve, and sometimes it's not even just changing the event itself; it's
Mhm.
the promotion leading up to the event.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
one of the videos, I don't know if you've seen our YouTube channel, we are slowly
Yeah. Watched.
introducing a little bit more videos that aren't necessarily arm wrestling, but it's
Hmm.
arm wrestling adjacent. So
Yeah.
like, what do you eat, right?
Yep.
What do you think about, something? What do you do during your free time? So getting to know the wrestlers a little bit more. I think that's how we are shaping things a little bit. But going back to Shaw Classic, I think there's a lot of overlap.
Yeah.
Like one of the, that there are a couple, because I'm the new guy and I'm trying to learn how to be, getting the best result in improvement in the shortest amount of time, right?
Hmm.
And, like people like Devin, his number one rule to get better is just arm wrestle more,
Yes.
right? And then there are also some of the advice that I've gotten. Well, Dexter, you need to create a strong base first. So just go to the gym,
Hmm.
right? And I think that's where that overlap is.
Hmm.
Just going straight to the gym, doing, weight training,
Yeah.
that translates over to strongman and also to arm wrestling. So there's a pretty decent overlap. Now, obviously, there's techniques and there's very specific kind of
Yeah.
motion that you have to practice and conditioning. Yeah, that becomes, but I think for the most part, the base, strong base, that's it applies to both sports.
No, I
Oh,
agree. I
definitely.
agree. I liked what you said on your one of your shows about Joe Rogan and like the way you looked at it, like having one announcer that can really break down and be analytic and like specific to what is going on. And then you have the other guy that's more of a hype guy that's just gonna call shit out as he sees it. And then the other
Right.
guy can kind of fill in the blanks. Like I kind of
During the
like,
setups, during these
yes.
moments where there is downtime, you kind of make it no downtime. You kind of make it always
Yeah.
uptime, you know?
Yeah, you'll make it always uptime, yes. And I thought that, you know what? I like the fact that you're an outsider looking in because one problem with our sport, because I've seen so much in the short time I've been here, just failures and failures and failures. We got passionate arm wrestlers that we see it one way, that's it, and that's why we can't grow because unfortunately we're not looking at it from a fan's perspective. We're not looking at it from the outside. What do people want to see? We just know what we do and we're passionate about it, and it's like we have blinders on. So we can't like grow the sport properly because it's from an arm wrestler's perspective. We need somebody from the outside being involved and saying, listen, this is how I see it. And I'm looking at it from a fan's perspective and then meshing the two together. I think that is where we're going to grow and I think we can hit mainstream one day, but we just got to keep sticking together and we got to stop all the little feuds all over the place. And you know what I mean? And just grow the sport. What do you think?
Yeah, and I can like I completely agree from every standpoint that you just made because uh have you, I've always made me and a couple of guys we always make fun of one of our buddies because it's like those in who do CrossFit
Yeah.
can't stop talking about CrossFit,
Yes.
right? And I think arm wrestling is actually kind of similar. Like once you get into it, it's like a bug. Once you
Yeah.
get it, you gotta like spread it, right? You can't help yourself, but you gotta spread it,
I agree.
right? So I think it's only a matter of time where it actually goes mainstream. And I think when I identify what mainstream is in my own personal definition, is that almost everybody would know certain athletes in the sport, even though they don't know much of the sport. Like you don't know much about soccer, but if I say Lionel Messi, you know who that guy is,
Mhm.
right? You know Steph Curry, you know Michael Jordan,
Of
right?
course.
That to me, and maybe one day we'll hear Lavon Saginishvili, Devin Larratt. Everybody
Devin's
knows him.
close. Devin's pretty close.
Devin's pretty close, right? And I think he's actually by far one of the top, if not the top arm wrestler, especially
Influence.
definitely
Yeah.
in the West. That is kind of like the ambassador of the sport, right? Spreading and everything. And I think that is a really crucial point. We need more ambassadors out there. So, matter of fact, I was
Yeah.
actually talking to one of our Eastern European athletes yesterday, Sergey Kalinichenko. He was sending me videos about, some of the prank videos he's making, and I was just giving him like advice on, hey, do this, and then it'll be more interesting. Make it longer so you can cut it into shorter reels, and then you can milk the same video through multiple
Yeah.
channels, those kind of
Exactly.
things, right? And I think that's what we need. We need to be a little bit more entertaining. Uh, I do know that there are a couple of people who kind of feel like we should keep it, strictly professional and only focused on
Like WAP
nothing
style.
else but arm wrestling, right?
Making it
No
IFA,
drama.
Making
Sorry,
it laugh.
making it
Oh,
IFA.
no, let's not do this. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. But
but
I
yeah,
understand what you're saying, though. I know
right,
it,
right.
but I think that's good professionally, but I think it's failed. The motto's failed for mainstream. So,
But I think though, like if in my opinion, like almost everything around the world, unfortunately, right? Unfortunately, a lot of things around the world
Mm.
revolves around money, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And I think one way to get more like mainstream is that if the athletes are paid better,
Mhm.
okay? If the athletes are paid better, or if there's a possibility to get paid better, then there is a there will be more people because right now, if you survey 10,000 kids in North America, how many of them would say that, Dad, I would want to grow up and be a professional arm wrestler? And they were like, what do you mean? Like, there's only maybe a handful of people could do it professionally, which means they can arm wrestle full time, right? That's maybe only a handful, right? Because I help a lot of the athletes with their visas and whatnot, even in the East, and
Mhm.
I know that they have full-time jobs elsewhere with
Mhm.
something else because it's currently unsustainable.
Yeah.
When we bring in more fans, new fans,
Yeah.
naturally that money will be passed on, some of it will be passed on to the athletes.
Athletes. Yeah.
Then when they're getting bigger and bigger paychecks,
Yeah.
more and more get better and they will all be full-time arm wrestlers
That's
slash
mainstream.
content creators and whatnot. So I think one key is I hope nobody can argue with this statement that we need to bring in more fans. And
Yeah.
how we do it, that's let's discuss that, right? But we need to agree that we need to bring in more fans.
Yes. Yes. And that's kind of where I was going with like kind of the outsider looking in, right? Like it's we definitely need more fans. And you know what, we need the characters too, and we need the hype, and we need all of it, right? Like we need everything. And we just gotta, and I think, you know what, if there's enough hype and good atmosphere, and it's characters will be made, people will become characters, you know what I mean? Like, I definitely I see so much for the sport, right? It is entertaining. But you know what you were saying earlier about like the setups and stuff, I do see, yes, if it's taking 10 minutes to do a setup, right? And stuff like that, that can be hard for the non-arm wrestler. But it can also be to the point where we can, with good announcing and like you said, people breaking it down properly, all of a sudden it could look like Hand Ninja. You know what I mean? Like, oh, look at him go, look at him sneaking up there. Oh, you can
Correct.
make something out of
Correct.
it. Yeah, you can make something out of it, right? You just got to
Yep.
be
Yep.
creative. Yeah, you got to be creative,
Yeah.
have a creative mind, you know what I mean? And just make the best out of all of it, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah, so I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
And to clarify, I don't think that our current announcers or in commentators aren't doing a good job. No, that's
no,
that's
oh no,
that,
I'm
that
not
that's not what
trying to
I'm
say
saying.
that.
But
Yeah.
I think we can find more. I think we are doing an excellent job doing the play by play.
Hmm.
Uh, but at times where it gets a little bit too technical, and then
Yeah.
I get lost,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. No,
So
for
that's when I know
sure.
it's like, I wish somebody would explain that to me. But usually I'm sitting right next to Robert, so I'll just nudge him. It's like, hey, Robert, what just
Well,
happened?
I will say there's certain things that I've seen other promotions try to mess with and stuff. And one, I mean, Ian Carnegie is my friend, so
Okay,
I'm wearing his gear just tonight, right?
sure.
He's a good guy. He's got a big vision too, right? And I know that he's simplified the setups a lot. But I mean, I see little negatives too with it, but it's like, overall, he's done a good job at least making the setup not be an issue. And it's just close your thumbs, close your fingers, go. Like, but it also takes some of the skill out of arm wrestling away, I believe, right? So it's hard, right? Like you want to make it quicker on the setup, but you still like setting up and winning a setup is still a skill too. Like it's still part of arm wrestling, right? So
Yeah, yeah, that's correct. I
yeah,
I do I definitely agree with that. I mean, like one of the arguments, why not just go straight to strap? But there are a decent amount of matches, not the
yeah,
majority these days, but there are a decent amount that ends with without the strap. And I made clear that in Chicago, we took note and collected data on how many matches ended in the strap and with not on,
yeah.
so those are still up for debate. And
Mhm.
I think if even if we wanted to do any changes, it would be gradually, very gradually. And unfortunately, the reason why I say gradually is because in the podcast where Luke mentioned,
Mhm.
Luke Polcher, he also said like, "Hey, we've been training for decades,
Yep.
looking for a specific, using on the specific
Close
rule
enough.
guideline,
Yep.
and
I'm a
now
ref
you're telling us
also,
to
so
do
I know what he's
something
talking
different.
about.
It's not the easiest, right?
Yes.
So even the refs takes time to train, and even athletes they have to get used to it,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Uh, there are a lot of great ideas out there floating. One of it is, Devin Larratt. He's is a big proponent of that consent, dual
Mm.
consent go,
Dual
right?
consent. Yep.
Regardless of body or grip.
Hmm.
And then there's like a button and everything. I think those
Yeah. Yeah.
slowly
Yeah.
take time
Yeah. Yeah.
to test out and make sure most athletes are comfortable with the new system because now they have to figure out, well, I need to
Now they got to
coordinate my
fix
left
this
hand right
button.
now, right,
Yeah.
while my right
Yeah.
hand's pulling. But I think even if we change it, it has to be gradual.
Hmm.
So I hope the East knows that
Hmm.
nothing will be changed without their buy-in as well, because they are equally as critical in this sport.
No, no, for sure. And I mean, like going forward, like people just gotta just keep loving arm wrestling. And I think people want fame. They want people to know them. People want to get paid too, right? So really, we just gotta like stick together. And you know what? Things are gonna get really good for arm wrestling. Like let's say someone doesn't want to come to North America, or let's say someone didn't want to compete at East versus West. Well, I can tell you one thing. Before East versus West, there was amazing pullers in the East, but we didn't know who they were. We didn't know nothing about them. Like I didn't know Samusha. I didn't know a lot, like tons of. I can just name up tons, and I love them. I love them now. I love watching them pull. I'm big fans of a lot of them. But if they were to stop pulling, it'd go back and we wouldn't know who they are. And it's like we don't want that. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
I love watching Samusha on the table, and you know what I mean. I love the wars he gets in and everything else. You know what I mean. Like this is what I mean. Like East versus West, it is arm wrestling. It brought us together. It brought us from all globes, all countries. We all got brought together. So you know what? We just have to remember that, and we're all brothers, and it's one big community, right? So
Yeah.
I'm so excited, and I just like, there's like I said, there's been some negative stuff, but I'm so positive because like it's done so much for arm wrestling. Like I said when East versus West started, I said, UFC was really nothing, and then they did the Ultimate Fighter and they grew. And what was so special about the UFC? Well, it gave somebody a dream. It gave somebody passion to train in the gym. It gave somebody the hope that, hey, I can get good enough. One day I will be in the UFC. Or like, like now I'm training. I'm thinking, well, my level's going up slowly. Maybe by next year I can go to a qualifier or something. Like my dream is the East versus West. That's where I want to be. Like, you know what I mean? And that's what
Yeah.
East versus West did for the arm wrestling community. It gave us a passion, a dream, and excitement on what the possibilities are. Like, do you know what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
that is the goal, and to also point out that we do have quite a bit of I mean, like UFC, even till today, they're still getting some negativity out there, and I don't think we'll ever be able to get out of negativity
Yeah, I agree.
unless, I start banning and moderating every single comment out there,
Yeah, and
which is
that
not
doesn't.
happening. But
No.
as long as it's just like the stock market, right? You always like jiggle up and down, but it's
Yes.
as long as we're trending upwards in terms of fan base for the sport, I can call it a win, right? And not all negativity is can be spun in a good way, but I think this time, what really came out of it is we have a partner with the strongman group,
Yep.
right? And I think that's one great collaboration. And we are actually exploring multiple other collaborations out there. That's what I want to do. In the early days, um, even, because I was watching this documentary, Vince McMahon on
Yep.
Netflix. And I think the first episode or so, they even partner with MTV. Now, I'm not saying you're partnering with MTV or anything crazy like that, but I think if we partner with even celebrities, like one of it was like Anatoly, for instance,
Mhm.
he has a
Yep.
massive following,
Oh, I watch
right?
his videos. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty entertaining, right?
Yeah.
If we
Yes.
collaborate with him, Now, the arm wrestlers, I would say the extreme hardcore guys might actually frown on this because who's he, to take a spot on one of the, I don't know, on the main stage. But
Mhm.
you know, people need to realize he brings
Brings views.
millions and
Yes.
millions of extra views that we could really benefit from. So I hope people slowly understand that, if I
Yeah.
bring Arnold himself or Stallone himself,
Yeah. Yeah.
that would be a dream come true, but I'm not counting on on that. But point being is,
I
I
agree.
think we have to do more collaborative work.
I do too. And you know what? I think us as arm wrestlers, we can understand and we want more eyes on us. And if Anatoly came and arm wrestled and we got a million more people watching, if I was pulling there and I got like all of a sudden it went from 100,000 people seeing me arm wrestle to like 1.4 million people watching me arm wrestle, how could I object to that? Like I wouldn't object to that. Like that's great, and King of the Table, that's one thing. I watched King of the Table and I watched East versus West. Now, I did feel that the matches were getting a little like they should have been more of the main matches on King of the Table. That's what I felt at the time. But I did like the kind of, celebrity matches, like, like the hype matches that they had. I thought it was interesting, right? Like Larry Wheels. I mean, look at the following he's got. Yeah, he lost and everything, but it didn't make me think any less of Larry Wheels. I thought it was amazing, just to see his journey in arm wrestling and everything. And like I like that aspect. And I think there should be still a little bit of room in East versus West for that too, like,
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, yeah, definitely. I mean, technically, this collaborative work.
yes.
If you look at our matches that we've set, a lot of like five of the matches were set by the Shaw Classic team, and on a traditional approach, some of them don't even meet the regular main event level, right? In terms of just pure arm wrestling, but I'm sure they can be super entertaining. And they're no joke that the average guys probably couldn't even beat them anyway, right? So I think this collaborative type works.
Yeah, I think so too. I do.
Yeah.
I do. And the social media world, us as arm wrestlers, because we're always on our Instagram or our Facebooks or we're on YouTube, we're also seeing these other influencers and we know we're part of their million or 10 million person viewing audience, because I'm watching it still, right? So, I think it's cool. And I think, a big percentage of the arm wrestling community is going to know who these people are too, right? So,
Yep. Yep.
yeah,
Yep. Absolutely.
yeah, no, I agree. And this Shaw Classic, hands down, is going to be amazing. And I know all the strongmen. I know their whole history. I'm big fans of all of them. Rob Oberst, I love him. I love I like all of them. Brian Shaw, Eddie Hall. Who else do you got? You got I'm trying to think of all the strongmen are there. Matthias, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Is there another strongman? There's Brian Shaw, Oberst, Eddie Hall, Matthias. I think that's it for strongmen, right?
Yeah. From the
Yeah,
videos I've seen, it looks like Brian Shaw, it's you know, exponentially getting better in his arm wrestling skills.
I agree.
I don't know, very quickly he might be on
That's it.
maybe top 20, on the rankings board, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's getting there. It's getting there.
Did you want to ask him one of your questions, Zach? I know you had some really good ones. Wait, wait. Oh, sorry,
Hey,
man. I didn't know you're muted.
Oops, sorry.
Oh, your audio's out,
He's
Zach.
he's kind of breaking up.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to hear. You know what I'll do? I don't know why his audio went. Yeah, for some reason your audio went, Zach. I'm not sure why. Did you go outside? Oh, you're in a car now. Looks like he's got a seatbelt on. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realize. I'm sorry. Um, oh yeah, no problem. I'm gonna ask him one of Dakota's questions because our other co-host couldn't make it tonight. His grandmother's birthday or something.
Oh
So
yeah.
I'll ask one of his. What obstacles have been the hardest so far since you've come into East versus West? I mean, touching in just on the business end of it, like your responsibilities.
I think from the most difficult the most challenging thing that
Hmm.
we had to face so far is the constant venue change,
Yeah.
and trying to stay ahead of time, stay ahead of that, because every time we change a venue,
Hmm.
we have to figure out a whole bunch of. So, like, to clarify, our AV team, we
Hmm.
don't really have anybody internally. Like, I'm not the guy pressing buttons or setting up the lights and everything.
Yeah.
Most of them are freelance and also third party guys,
Yeah.
right?
Contracting them. Yeah.
Yeah, contractors.
Hmm.
And at every venue so far that we've attended, we've hosted one, every venue had some weird thing that we have to deal with.
Hmm.
Either some local guy who's trying to extort us for more money, to
Yeah.
some guy who is putting his foot down on the simplest thing.
Yeah.
Because,
I've had it.
like, I'll give you one really crazy thing. So in Chicago, for that specific venue, we had to load from the back, right? So,
Mhm.
and it was like, I kid you not, it was probably like two football fields, it's probably like 200 yards away
Yeah.
from the ballroom.
That's crazy.
And, we are bringing, like, I mean, the third party contractor they were bringing in, like, all the rigs and all the big, cases and everything. One of the rule was no wheels on carpets. So they had to hand carry every single thing. And we were like, why? Couldn't
Why?
we, you know,
And
we
it
will
wouldn't
use
break.
smooth wheels and everything. And so we had to fight them for a really hard time. And finally they says, no, no, no. It's brand new carpets, can't do anything with that, those sort of thing.
Just because
So
of one.
it's just one of those really crazy things,
I
right?
do
And then we
know
have to
what you
deal with
mean.
them. And then come to find out, they said, hey, we need you out by midnight. And so
Yep.
we know
I've
how
had that.
Chicago ended,
Yep.
right? But
Yep.
then we were like, wait a second, is Sunday being rented at all? This is no. So why couldn't we just tear it down and store it? Because no truck was going to be showing up.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things. And then we
I
ended up,
know.
we took it all down, but we had no place to put it. And we
Mhm.
got slapped with a $5,000 fine, a
He
penalty.
was 5,000. Wow.
Yeah, it was just one ridiculous thing,
Yeah.
right? So it's
Yeah.
those kind of things that we have to slowly kind of figure out. And,
I know exactly what you're talking about. I ran an East versus West qualifier last year,
mhm.
and we did it at this Grand Casino. And
Uh-huh.
it was the same thing. We had to be out by midnight. It was crazy. And it was like nothing going on the next day, but we had to have everything out. Then it was all these additional charges. What was supposed to be 3,500 turned into like $7,000 for me. So I was like, where'd all this stuff? And it was like the craziest stuff. And you know what? I'm on a small scale versus East versus West, but I know exactly what you're talking about because I've run into the same issues all the because you want to be professional and you want to do something really big for the production and everything else, but then you get in, yeah, like the guidelines and the rules, or you get hit. You know what happened to me? So 3 days before or a few days out, all of a sudden I get this because someone contacted the casino. They're like, "You have your sanction letter and your insurance whatever on this event." And I went, "What?" I'm like, "I'm sanctioning myself." You know what I mean? Like what do you mean? Insurance, we have a waiver. And it was like it almost crashed. The whole East versus West qualifier almost crashed 3 days before. Yeah,
Yeah.
because of somebody thinking up imaginary stuff that we don't have that red tape here in Canada. So for one, we have a waiver system. You don't get insurance, not in Canada. And then
Oh,
the sanction letter, I just have to register with the federation, the Alberta Federation, if I want to do an event in Alberta. And that's $100. So it's like, you know what I mean? But it was like,
yeah.
wow. So anyway, it was funny you touch in on that because even at my level, I deal with that still. So.
Correct. And so we are doing one every 6 weeks. And so you can see the challenge of that, trying to put, trying to find all the personnel from volunteers to the merch table, and just trying to stay ahead of the venue system. And that's why everybody is very confused, like, hey, what happened to Baku? And I'll tell you exactly this is what happened, because we it's such a short period. By the time we get home from one event, it's 5 weeks to the next event, right?
Yeah.
And you can't book it in 5 weeks. You have to book it like a month in advance minimum, or that is if you're lucky, right? So it's one of those where I think over time, we've been working with different freelancers and different AV teams right? Different production companies, and we start to find out who we like. And over time, those that we like gets called back. That's how it is. And even when we go to a certain city, we'll know who the local guys are, right? Oh, okay, and if whether they helped us or not. So like the people in Arlington, fantastic people, probably gonna go back there someday, right? And so there are some people like the city people who supported us. They pretended to support us, but they weren't really supporting us.
Yeah.
Then so it's one of those growing pains, unfortunately, right? In the
Yeah.
past, it was always in Dubai for King of the Table, and always, other than one event in Orlando, it was always in Istanbul. It's always the same production team. They know what works. They know exactly how it is. It's totally okay, right? Even now, we are doing something with Brian Shaw's team. The same guys, the same production team that does the Arnold's Classic as well.
Yep.
They haven't done an arm wrestling event, right? So, but from their
They're gonna do the
reputation, they do.
production on this one, I heard. Yeah.
Yeah, from from their reputation, they do a pretty good job.
Yeah.
But one thing
I've
they
seen them.
don't know very much, and the experience is in arm wrestling. So we
Hmm.
have to go in and educate them a little bit, and if we like them,
Hmm.
maybe we'll keep using them.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? So those are some of the growing pains, is just weeding out good people, and we
Hmm.
had even volunteers. I find some volunteers amazing people,
Yep.
amazing. Well, one of them is actually he was up there with Devin, Benji, right?
Yep.
He came on
Engineer.
as,
Yep.
oh yeah, I'm just a moderator. I've been moderating for years,
Moderates
and okay.
everybody. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, like I got to meet him at a couple of events, and he ended up being super helpful. And now I'm like, okay, he's helping us with so many things.
Hmm.
I'll take care of some of his expenses,
Hmm.
right? So
Yeah.
it's just one of those, getting to know more people who works well with us and who doesn't, and then but
Making friendships and new partnerships and finding out who you can trust in the business and who you can't too, right? Like it takes a long time to just feel around, right? See who's going to be helping, who's going to be supportive. There's going to be a lot of people that will act supportive but will stab you in the back too, and you'll find that too,
yeah,
because
yeah,
maybe
or,
you
or they
haven't at your level, but at our level it happens. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
So you
yeah,
just always got to be, what, the community overall though is pretty amazing. And I would say,
yeah.
like, yeah, everyone's always so quick to help in this community. So, I mean, I love
Yeah,
it.
every
That's
time
why
I
I
go to
love arm
practice
wrestling.
anywhere, everybody seemed to be super cool, super
Oh
cool.
yeah. It's the best community
There's
in the world. I'm telling you, it is. Like, there's not
yeah,
a more loving community. Like, listen, we could go to the table and I'll like, I might be pretty rude to you. I might even like, scare you a bit maybe. But like after we pulled, we're brothers for life. Like, you know what I mean? Once we've gripped up, we're connected. And that's how I look at arm wrestling. It's a very
yeah.
sacred thing, arm wrestling.
And maybe that could be the argument for why some arm wrestlers don't want external people coming in, because right now it's good, right?
Mhm.
Everything
Yeah.
works, everybody's nice, and they're just afraid that outsiders come in and ruin the whole thing for them, ruin the sport.
Yeah,
That
could be
I
too.
can see
Yeah.
that perspective.
Yeah.
So, but
Mhm.
but I don't think that side that necessarily outweighs the benefit of
Mhm.
bringing more people in my opinion.
Yeah, you close it off and you're only hurting yourself, right? You don't really want to put walls up. You want to break the walls down and let
Correct.
everyone in, right? And then you know
Correct.
what? The
Correct.
bad apples, we'll see them right away and pluck them apart anyway. So it doesn't matter, right?
Yeah, there isn't a lot of us
Drama.
around that if you create a bad name for yourself, like it spreads
Yeah,
like wildfire,
you're done. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because we're so small, we know
right?
everything. Like the community, like what happens, you'd be like, how does that guy find out? You know what I mean? You're gonna be, wow, I don't know how he found out. You'll see that in arm wrestling because it's just we are that small, right?
Oh, believe me, I'm in the middle of that. I see one screenshot leaked, and all of a sudden, like the whole
Yeah.
my inbox is filled with people telling me, "Hey, did you see this? Did you see this?" Like,
Mhm.
yeah, I saw it. I saw it.
Is your audio good now, Zach?
Yeah, it should be good. You guys hear me?
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. I want you to shoot. You had some good questions. I want you to ask them. So,
Okay, yeah. So Dexter, you touched earlier while I was in the vehicle there about wanting to get athletes to better salaries and stuff like that. Are you also looking to kind of make like a surefire path for someone to go from amateur up through and to get in East versus West?
Yes. Now this is obviously one of my goals. So I'm not necessarily an arm wrestler, but I have been an athlete and a gamer for a really long time. I own a chain of game stores, and
Oh,
I
awesome.
played. Right, right. So and it's all pretty similar, in the sense where you need to feed, the new guys a possibility of one day reaching the top. Right now, that path isn't too clear, and I'm trying to restructure that. I've kind of spoken this to Robert, but it's not our current priority just quite yet, because we need to get the main stuff locked down, like finding a good production team all squared away and locked in. And we need to get all our venues, uh, all all scheduled, maybe almost 12 months in advance, that kind of thing. Because all the good venues, sometimes they're booked 3 years in advance, kind of thing, right? And so, what, assuming that's all taken care of, all the standard necessity is all taken care of, then we can look into channeling a little bit of our focus into creating a structure. And so the structure that I came up with, and that is very, very common, is that you need to have some local level building up into national, into regional, and then finally you get it to the world level, right? Right. That's kind of the structure. And my thought is, okay, if we follow the same path, and without changing too many things. And this whole strawman thing would be a good test. This upcoming event that we're doing it on Friday evening. It is also to test what is the viewership numbers looking like if we did it on Friday evening versus Saturday afternoon,
Yep.
which has been typically done in the
Tradition.
past,
It's been tradition. Yeah.
right? Because the idea is, just think about this: if every week, without fail, on our YouTube channel, there is an arm wrestling, a pretty high level, regional level arm wrestling event somewhere in the world. So,
Yeah.
say this week it will be somewhere in East Asia, so the region of Japan, Korea, China, and then next week would be in West Europe. So we're talking
Mhm.
about Ireland, Scotland, UK, maybe Spain, Italy, right? And then you have another. Well, the following week would be maybe South in Latin America. The next week is Africa, and that's all free, right? Production level won't be as close as the main event on the pay-per-view event, but it allows people to notice, hey, this African guy is it's pretty crazy. I mean, that Nigerian just whacked this guy, right? And then over time, we have all these data that gets fed into a true world qualifier event, right? They all get their expenses paid for, at least their travel paid for. They won't get any appearance fee, but at least their their travel and lodging costs and food will be taken care of when they arrive somewhere, maybe Dubai, maybe somewhere central that visa is not an issue. They all fly there and they compete. That's the path to being on the main event. Now, even
Yeah.
in the main event, we are going to be breaking down, and I've already spoken to Robert, and he's agreeable to this. We just haven't agreed on when we'll be switching this to this. No, identical to UFC.
Mhm.
Okay, where they have on one full day they have three separate events, right? And the first two events are on on their regular free channel. It's broadcast on ESPN and whatnot. So would be similar for us. So in the morning, there'll be maybe five, six matches, and it'll be called the early prelims, right? And then in the afternoon, it'll be a second session, prelims, the
Prelims. Yeah.
preliminary matches. And then in the evening, which is the golden hour
Main event.
for pay-per-view, that's
Yeah.
when it happens, and it'll be the main event. And
I
that's
like it.
only,
I
you know,
like it. I like
and
what I'm hearing. Yeah.
so, and people work their way up to the being in the main event, and the main event won't be as the card won't be as big anymore. It won't be 10, 12 matches. It probably be down to 5, 6 for the
Yeah,
pay-per-view, right?
exactly.
And
And you
so
don't
we
have to
keep
do
it down to
20.
three
Yeah.
hours or so, under 3 hours. But that's the idea, right?
Yes.
We
I
feed
agree.
more, more content out there, and we get the local guys, the regional guys, and you know, getting some level of exposure
And you got a
because
big
nothing
pool
beats
too.
free.
You got a
Yeah,
new pool for yourself. Yeah.
correct. And so it trains people to be like, hey, you know what? Every Friday night, I have my root beer in hand. I don't drink alcohol, so that's why I'm saying root beer. I
Yeah.
have a root beer
I
in
don't
hand
drink either.
on
Yeah.
my lazy boy, and then just watching arm wrestling. So that's the path where I want to go,
I
and
like it.
bunch of, and
That's
we'll have to
mainstream.
find, yeah, and then we have to find sponsors. We're gonna have to
Look for
find
'em.
local regional coordinators to take up certain countries. So because we won't, from the management standpoint, this is going to be a massive undertaking, and the only way to really do it in a timely manner in the near future is to find good, solid, reputable partners in the local regions to manage all
Yes.
the regional type level events, right?
Yes.
Uh,
Yes. Well,
that sort of thing. So
there's other things to that too. So when you built it, if you built it to that point, which listen, I have full confidence you know what you're doing. That also opens up doors for athletes because once the stage is set and it's like that, now you're going to have, because the more we go mainstream, the more, if I'm kicking ass at East versus West, a big equipment supplier or a spot like a big sponsor will say, we want to sponsor you personally. Do you know what I mean? Because
yep,
now they know I'm made the big stage on East versus West. They know that I have a following. They see my socials. They see where I'm going. Now you've just made me more money because, well, in a sense, it's gonna be a trickle down effect for everybody. Like UFC, they have sponsorships. The athletes have their own sponsorships too. You know what I mean? So like it's good for
They make
everybody.
more money off the sponsorships by a long shot as well.
Yes, oh, they
Athletes
do.
always make more money off sponsorships. It's known.
Yeah.
correct.
So
And
I mean, I
ideally,
love it.
all the athletes have some level of social media that they can monetize from. You see what I'm saying?
Totally.
And
Totally.
then when their followers, grow. I mean, like I was just watching. I think Levon was doing like I think he got an endorsement deal of some axe that he was just cutting or chopping around, things like
Yeah.
that, and he probably got some
So
money
X
out of
amount
that.
of dollars. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a lot of, at least, being a local celebrity also doesn't hurt, right? Even in their own region
Well,
and their
Yeah.
own champ, the local city champion, and everybody's rallying behind him, and yeah, and I don't know a lot of arm wrestlers around the world, and I was just gonna say
Mhm.
that, but I'm from the East, Southeast Asia, and there is one athlete, I think early this year, I think in March, he won the Arnold's Classic in the super
oh
heavyweight,
wow.
Yeah.
right?
I know who you're
Damn,
talking
that's
And
a
about. I know who you're talking about.
yeah,
Yep.
and so he's coming to the Shaw Classic this time, and he was trying to raise some money and found sponsors to sponsor him. I think one of it was some construction company, some local construction company
Yeah.
who supported him. And I think there will be more and more of that happening,
Yes. I
right?
agree.
As we grow and help them get more publicity,
We
get more eyes on them.
we just sponsored through the fingers. Just sponsored an athlete last weekend. Yeah. And yeah. So Nicholas Mode, he's an up and comer over in the U.S. and he reached out and said that, listen, I'm having financial problems, whatever. He was a little low on money, and he said, would we be interested in sponsoring him? And and he gave us lots of praise. He did lots for us for the small amount of money I gave him. But there's a little, we've actually sponsored a few athletes now, just the pod, because we don't make any money really, but we love arm wrestling, right? So if we can help out an athlete, and if we can do it, imagine if someone with a little more money, you know what I mean, can do it for them,
Yeah.
right? So I
Yeah.
love it. I love it, man. Oh, and I wanted to quickly say, and I know you got Wicked Productions, and I know the people that do the Shaw Classic are amazing. The M Spot, if you ever wanted to check out a production that we're very, very sold on because we've been part of it, the M
Red Lake
Spot,
Studios.
Red Leg Studios, they are out of this world quality production. And we're both really good friends with Gelder. He runs Reg Leg Studios, and he does UFC. He's been doing UFC since
Well,
121. He's done the World Series, and he just signed a major contract with Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. And I'm telling you, he's top notch. Like we
Wow.
have some videos on our channel. If you ever get time to watch, like Zach has a match on there, I have a match on there. The production, I'm telling you, for the level that we are as arm wrestlers, it was the best thing I've ever been a part of. It was like it sold me. Like people, I didn't even know who I was before
it made you feel like you were on East versus West. They had
it made me
walkouts,
feel, yeah.
announcers, commentary, everything. It was awesome.
It was next level. Like the camera, when I'm walking out, Buddy walked and he followed me, and they had millions of their cameras are $1 million. Like they have the top of the line, state of the art equipment. Like they're amazing. So just throwing it out there, just throwing it out there. He's a good friend of mine. I wanted to plug him to you. You never know, a smaller venue, you might be able to use him. So I'd
Yeah.
throw it out there.
After this, this podcast, just send his information to me. I'm happy to explore. I mean, no
Yeah.
harm in that, right?
Yeah, I'll send you maybe my match so you can see it, and then it is WAL style, I would say, but it's almost better than the WAL even. Like it was really good.
Ooh,
Yeah, like
Whoa.
there was
very good
cameras in the
production.
tables. There was cameras in the tables and everything,
There's a
like
top
showing
down shot.
underneath the grip. Yeah, it was really, really cool. Yeah, so definitely
Okay.
wanted to
Yeah. Yeah.
plug
Send him my
them.
way. Happy to take a look at
I
that.
will, I will. Yeah, I did that
So
for you,
Dexter,
Bubba.
both of you kind of mentioned UFC a couple times. You've seen The Ultimate Fighter, of course.
Yes.
Would that concept work with arm wrestling? Do you think? Do you think there could ever be a concept like that where there's teams and they stay at a compound and they train and they have matches and there's like a common goal? Do you think that would work, or do you think it's not?
Okay. Sorry, you kind of broke out a little bit, but I,
Yeah.
I, I understood where your question was heading to have some sort of like
Okay.
yeah. I've spoken to Robert about that many times. Matter of fact, it was one of the first few things I pitched to him.
Hmm.
That hey, I think what I'm missing right now, right, is getting to know the athletes a little bit better. Now,
Yeah.
obviously, I'm being so hands-on with this thing. Any athlete that has gone through any of the events that I personally have been involved in, I know them pretty well, pretty well, right? But for some athletes that I've yet to meet because they have not pulled at any of the events that I've been involved in, kind of difficult. So, and I think Robert has also agreed that people sometimes don't just support blindly;
Mm.
they support the athlete
Yeah, I
before
agree.
anything else,
I
right?
agree.
And so we need to develop characters. And one of the ways to develop characters is, yeah, documentary is definitely one of them.
Hmm.
But the other kind of like reality series, it's the other that I think what you were alluding to.
Hmm.
And yes, those take a lot more time and money. Matter of fact, actually, to be super honest, if we had a little bit more time, and we are talking about maybe a week or two more time to plan for
Hmm.
Chicago, we would have done it in Chicago. Did you know
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
So one of the few things that if for people who went to Chicago was that athletes had to switch hotels because the hotels we were in were booked out during the weekdays due to it being a major
Oh.
business conference style type of hotels. So we were at a separate hotel, and then when Thursday rolled around, we had to shuttle most of everybody, to the different hotels. So one of the concepts we thought about, hey, Robert, get this idea. We rent two mansions or one massive mansion,
Yeah.
Airbnb that bad boy, right? We stick several athletes in there, especially we had a lot of key guys in there. Like we have
Have cameras
Levon,
everywhere.
we have Devin, we have Orman. We have a lot of key guys in there. Let's
Hmm.
stick them both in there, and then we every night they have to do it like a challenge, not necessarily arm wrestle,
Hmm.
but a challenge. Like who can eat the most burgers in one night? Something
Yep.
ridiculous like that. But that's what but we were just short on time to put everything together. But we almost did it. And
Oh,
so
yeah. That's sweet.
because one of the really the challenge that we face is trying to bring flying in all the athletes,
Hmm.
right? It's a huge expense. But
Hmm.
since they were already there for an
Yeah.
event, we just had to extend their stay by a day or two. And
Like
instead
two
of being
days,
at the
three. Yeah.
hotel, let's
Yeah.
stick them in a nice big mansion and you know
I don't
film the
think they would
crap
have
out of all
complained.
the activities.
I seen
Yeah.
it attempted. I seen it attempted, but failed. But they didn't have any money. They didn't have. They weren't East versus West. But you know what? How can that'd be amazing? And I tell you right now, everybody in the chat here and all the other chats, they would be watching it. Like like yeah, especially if you had like some kind of I don't know, even like on your East versus West channel. If you have you seen Arm Wars? Well, of course you have. They'll
Yeah.
have like where if you become a member of Arm Wars you get to see all the behind the scenes footage and you get to see the house footage and everything. They kind of do a little bit of that. Damn. I mean, I would pay $10 a month to watch behind the scenes footage. You know what I'm saying, right? Like that's
Oh,
awesome. I think that'd be great. And we get to know everybody. Like get to know them as people and their personalities. And we might be like,
Well,
that
maybe
guy's a
don't.
douche,
Yeah,
because you
I
want
totally
people
agree.
hating people too. Yeah.
But I wouldn't put it behind a paywall personally. I'd want that to be almost the
Yeah,
front
no, true.
content.
The
You
views
know what I
would
mean?
pay
Like that stuff
itself. Yeah.
people really want to see. That can draw eyes. You know.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right.
yeah, Adam and I, we tinkered around the whole membership thing and be putting, exclusive content that we
Mhm.
spend a little bit more time and effort to film.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest issue was that a lot of Europeans couldn't see it, and not because they couldn't afford it, but it was because
Yeah.
they just literally couldn't buy it due
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
country regulations and
Yeah.
sanctions,
They have a lot of
right?
restrictions and
And so then we are kind of neglecting them,
yeah,
and
true.
I didn't feel it was kind of right. So it wasn't a monetary or financial decision. It was
Hmm.
more, you know what, the main goal, right? For now, it's uh you know, at least internally, our
Hmm.
main source of revenue is the pay-per-views, right?
Yes.
So
Hmm.
if that is the ultimate goal for now, whatever efforts that we do in order to support that, that's priority, right?
Yeah.
So trying to find secondary source of revenue, it's good. Like, we've been increasing our merch store, and we are revamping a little bit. We brought all the fulfillment in-house because
Mhm.
the previous third-party contractor was kind of screwing a lot of orders up.
Yeah.
But merch is good aside, but pay-per-view is still number one, right?
Yes.
Whatever we can
Yeah,
do to blow the sport up, if we
more
can.
eyes on it, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, if it
Then I
adds
think
15%
we
more
win.
pay-per-view buys, every time because of what you're doing, then that pays for itself then, right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So that's kind of where we're heading, and that's kind of the goal. What we are trying to shoot for is
Mhm.
just bringing more eyes to the sport for now. And the reason why I say pay-per-views for now is because ultimately the goal is that we get a deal, an online streaming deal,
Mhm.
so then it's for everybody. It's
Yeah.
not behind a 1999
Paywall. Yeah.
paywall,
No, true.
unfortunately. But
Yeah.
athletes still need to get paid, and expenses are real that needs to be covered, right? So we can make it a free event. We would love to make it a free event,
Oh
but
yeah.
Yeah,
Netflix has to pay us, or Hulu,
Well,
or whatever.
that's
listen,
fair. Yeah.
listen, I know how much it costs. Listen, I do events like we do events now on a much smaller scale, and I know the cost of actually running an event. So,
If it's
I
hard to
mean,
make money back on the small scale, it's probably exponentially
yeah,
harder on the
yeah,
large scale.
if we have a hard time, if when we break even, we're always happy, and when we make a little money, we're like really happy. So I can imagine, you know what I mean? Like on your guys' scale, the risk is very high as well, right? So.
Yeah, and cost in America is way higher than in
Astronomical.
Well, we're in Canada.
Europe or
It's more
parts
higher
of
here,
Europe.
believe me.
And yeah,
Costs is
but
higher in Canada, buddy. I'm sorry. Yeah. It's like we're getting
is it
raped
though?
here. Yeah, yeah.
Is it?
It's bad. Well, our dollar keeps going to nothing, right? So yeah, that's why. Yeah. Yeah,
but
unfortunately. Yeah. What's that
but
saying? Oh, I'm sorry. It's just the chat's active tonight. Thank you, chat. I've been watching your conversations, but not a lot of questions, just a lot of talking, so that's cool.
no, no, that's good. You know, but
Yeah, yeah. So,
Yeah.
so you want to read one more of your questions? You got your questions on you, Zach?
Yeah, I'm just gonna ask one more, and then I gotta head out. Sorry to
Oh yeah, that's fine.
cut and
Yep.
run, but I gotta
We're not
get
gonna be too
practice
long
on.
anyway. Yep.
So, yeah, I guess I'll just finish my questioning here with if you if you could, I mean, if you would, if you will, say something to the fans, like all the ones that are East versus West diehards, the ones that are gonna stay. no matter what. They love it. They can't get enough. What would you want to say to them?
The diehard fans. I would
Yeah,
say keep doing what you're doing. Embrace the new guys, the new fans, the new people that are coming into the sport because uh convert them to be hardcore fans as yourself. So just
Yeah.
keep doing what you're doing. Don't change a single thing, but to embrace the new guys. Like myself, I guess I'm the new guy. That's why I'm a little biased in that statement, but right?
no,
Yeah.
that's a great statement to make, man.
Oh, I think so.
I think that's the key of arm wrestling, and the heart of it all is the community, right? It's such a great community. So, yeah, I think everyone just loves to help everyone and boost everyone. So,
Oh yeah.
I think
No,
the more the
most
merrier.
definitely. Most definitely. And I
Well,
yeah,
thanks for coming on. I gotta head out.
okay. I got
Yeah.
just a couple more questions. I won't keep
Thanks, Zach.
Dexter too much longer,
Yeah, see
Zach.
you, Dexter. Tell
Okay,
Robert I
thanks,
said hey.
Zach. Have a good practice, brother.
Thank you. I will.
Okay, yeah, crush some arms. He's off to practice tonight. He lives in Red Deer where our team is, and I'm in Calgary, so I'm about an hour and a half away. So I
Oh,
wanted to do the podcast so bad. I'm not going to practice tonight, so it's okay.
oh, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
it's okay. No, actually, like I really did. I tore my UCL and I ripped a
Oh,
flexor. A flexor. I was at Canadian Nationals about 3 weeks ago now, I guess, 3.5 weeks ago, and I was going for the pin and I was pressed my classic transition, but I went a little early. Plus the start, there was a false start there. It was something wacky, and I was out of position, but I dragged him back and I was going in for the press, and I just heard it just ripped.
so like your
Yeah.
arm was on the outside?
Well, I came in and I was doing my side pressure press, but
Uh-huh.
the match before, I think what I did is I heard it the match before. I was up against a really a 26-year veteran, and he flies in like Jablonski, Jablonski.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
The
yeah.
way he
Yeah.
flies in with that flop press, and I was catching him, and I kept catching him and catching him, and I think I was putting a little strain there, and then the next match. I ended up coming and I was dragging him sideways and I went in for my side pressure press, and yeah, it just something like it just ripped. I went a little early. I went because in the nationals there's like 15 people in my class, right? So I
Right.
was like, I don't want to waste energy and time on this guy. So I went in to give him the old press like early, and I think I should have just brought him over a little bit more before I went for the kill. But either I hurt myself. So anyway, yeah. So I ripped my elbow apart and then I was out because my arm flopped on the table afterwards. So, but I mean, I'm rehabbing. I'm already getting my numbers back up. It's been 3 weeks. Still don't know if it's surgery or not, but I'm gonna probably by the time I get my MRI, because you wait forever here in Canada. So I have to pay for it still, even though I live in Canada, but I got to wait till August 13th for the MRI. But we did the ultrasounds and they showed the flexor muscle got ripped in half. And then the tendon, my doctor's thinking it's under 40%. So if it's under 40%, then I can heal that anyway. I've already started healing it with different medicines and
Oh,
rehab. So I think I'm already getting close to where I can go on the table and just do back pressure. So I think I'll be okay. Yeah.
great.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
good luck to you.
Yeah, no, thank you. I'm just gonna look at our co-host because I'd like to honor him. I know he gave me a couple more questions for you,
Sure.
and we won't keep you much longer. I know you have to do your own podcast here at 8, right?
Yes, and 8
Yes,
on
I'll
my
be
channel.
watching that too. Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
for
great.
sure. I've been following it lately. I've been watching it. I like it.
Yeah, I just barely started. I feel like, maybe some people like to see, from the operational standpoint of things than the arm wrestling standpoint, as, that's kind of adjacent to it.
Yeah, yeah, no, I get it. I get it totally. Okay, so he wants to know your personal favorite athlete so far in arm wrestling since you've found the sport.
Okay.
Do you have one that stands out?
I actually have a few, and it's quite hard
To pick just one, yeah.
to
Well, how
pick
about
just
this?
one.
Do you have three? Do you have three that stand out of
Okay, so there's also another thing I need to preface as well. I cannot make it publicly known
Oh,
uh,
because I know why. Because it would show
because it may
bias.
seem like, hey, management likes that guy, and
Actually, yeah.
you know,
I
and
agree. I
then
agree.
it's like,
Because
oh,
then it
there's some
will look like
biasness and everything.
it
So I
will
got to be
look.
really careful about that.
I know what you mean because then they could say, "Oh no, Dexter said he loved those three." Of course, that call went that guy's way. I understand what you're saying. You
Yeah,
know what?
and the real truth is I'd never influence anybody, right?
No,
Robert
you
and I never
no,
influence anybody,
no.
but it still happened
You
that,
can't really do
people can
that.
point
It doesn't
fingers,
work.
right?
I'm a
So
promoter, I'm an arm wrestler, I'm a certified referee. I know that if you wanted to manipulate a match, you know what you'd have to go through to try to do it. Like it's not something that, you know what I mean? Like
yeah,
yeah.
it's not worth it at this
Yeah,
point.
no, no, no.
And for people to even suggest that,
Is
right?
messed. I heard someone
Correct.
suggest it recently about the refs, and I almost puked. I thought it was the most retarded thing I ever heard in my life. I'm not saying names, but he actually implied that he felt the refs were betting, and I was just like, come on, man. Like, come
We
on.
we
There's
we heard
honor.
those rumors as well internally, and we looked into it, and there was
No,
no
no.
truth to that.
Yes,
Absolutely no truth to that. So
we have as arm wrestlers, and if you're a ref, you've been around long enough, we have a code. We honor a code. Like we're not, there is none of that. There won't be none of that. Like it's not in the arm wrestling spirit and blood. So, uh,
yeah,
yeah,
I'll put up probably a stern warning. If any athlete or ref is
yeah,
involved in any way that they are fixing
that would be
matches,
huge. Yeah.
they would be
Done.
probably be permanently banned internationally.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. And so what's your favorite sport other than arm wrestling, Dexter?
Um, I grew up in a badminton school.
I love badminton. That's one of my
So
favorite things to
the
play.
former world number one was my eldest brother's classmate.
Wow. Really?
Yeah, Lee Chong Wei. So I
I
played a lot
believe
of
it.
badminton when I was
I
younger.
believe it.
So
Yeah.
even yeah, I played once in a blue moon now. Uh, so I went to arm wrestling practice in when I was back in Asia,
Yeah.
right? And for whatever reason, I can't straighten my hands out really well
No.
after practice for
No.
whatever reason, right?
That's going to be
And so I
normal.
struggle a little bit with badminton,
Because you need
but
that
you know what?
extension. You need the
Yeah,
extension
I
in
need
the
the
elbow.
real extension for
Yeah,
full power, but
yeah.
it's okay. It's a small trade-off, and I still enjoy it here and there. But
I
it's a
gave up
little
my
bit more
favorite sport.
difficult when I get older and heavier.
Yo, I agree. I gave up my favorite sport because of arm wrestling. So before I started arm wrestling, I used to do about 150 rounds of golf a year. So
Oh,
I love golf. I love golf. I played golf like for many years, and it was very normal in my business too. Like if I had a customer or I was trying to get a contract or something, we would always business is always on the golf course. So
that's correct. Yeah,
yes, yes. So I did a
that's right.
lot. I played a lot of golf and I loved it. And arm wrestling destroyed that. My elbows cannot handle golfing and arm wrestling. It doesn't work. So I
Yeah,
basically go out about 10 times a year now. That's it for golf. So
right.
yeah, so I understand. I understand. Well, yeah, I did reach out to Robert as well. I asked him, of course, I asked him if he can make some time down the road, and he said right now he's really, really busy, but he will try to make some time and come on the pod. So, originally I was going to try to get you and him together. So, but and I'm so blessed. We're so blessed to have you on. Thank you, Dexter. I really,
Thanks, Brian.
very passionate about what you guys are doing. I support you guys 100%.
Thank
Also,
you.
like I said, I am a promoter, and if there was ever anything in Canada, like if you ever, I'm around too, because my heart and soul is definitely into East versus West. I have done a qualifier, even though it was under old management, but I love the new management, and anyway, I'm just saying, even volunteering, I'm here too. I will always support you guys, and I love what you're doing. I'm very passionate about East versus West. I tried to fix my lighting. I got posters and all the trading cards, but my lights just don't show off all the East versus West stuff in my basement. So I
Oh
got straps
man.
signed by Zurib. I got straps signed by other athletes. I've bought all the merch, and I've been a fan since day one. So just to let you know.
Oh, thank you. That is
Yeah,
so very kind. But
yeah,
you'll be well, I mean, within the next, I don't know when we'll announce it, but we have some really exciting plans coming up shortly
that's
about
awesome.
an updated trading cards.
Ooh,
So
yeah.
stay tuned on that. We're not, forgetting about how much people actually want trading cards. But so
Yes.
stay tuned. But
That's
yeah,
awesome. That's awesome. That's really good news, Dexter. And again, like I said, I'll give you some time before your pod. And thanks again. Really appreciate you, brother. And you'll probably hear from me. I'll probably keep in touch with you. And I
yeah, yeah.
appreciate you a lot. So I just
And,
wanted
and
you.
don't forget to send me your buddy's contact from
I
production.
will. I will actually. I will. I'll send both the co. Oh no, I'll send Gelder. Yep, yep, yep. Thank you very much. He'll really appreciate that too. So
Yeah,
thanks
absolutely.
again, brother. And you have a good night and have a great podcast yourself.
Okay, thanks, Brian.
Okay. And thanks to chat. Love you all. Have a good night. Take care, everyone.
Thanks.